Hey, good morning, everybody. This is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Bamage. It's Friday. We're going into the weekend, and we've got great news. We're actually going to have some cooler and drier air moving in. It's not here today, though we do have the first of two cold fronts that'll be heading our way as we go through the weekend. And by Sunday night into Monday, I think a lot of us are going to have the windows open and maybe a light jacket. Let's start with looking at what's going on right now. You can see what's going on out there this morning. We've got a lot of low clouds, fog, drizzle, a definitely kind of gloomy looking day. Here's the interesting thing about the setup today and tomorrow. Probably not as much rain as we've seen the last 24 hours. The actual cold front is back here to the north and west. Let me show you the two fronts. There's actually two. One in light blue. There's one right in this area, right about there. But then the secondary front, this is the real deal. This front is the big cold front that's going to bring the much cooler and drier air. When we look at temperatures behind this secondary front, look at the 30s and 40s in the upper Midwest. And if you look at the dew points, those dew points are in the 30s and 40s. So there's a real marked difference behind the second front. Not so much this first front, though. I would say the dew points are a little drier behind this first front. They're mainly in the low and mid 60s as opposed to the low 70s and the upper 60-degree dew points we have over us right now. So we'll turn that off, and we'll kind of turn everything off and turn some model data on and kind of time out how these fronts are going to move in. Because the one thing I think is interesting, it looked like we were going to see a decent chance of rain tomorrow and maybe in the afternoon. I'm not so sure we're going to see that much now, because you can see the energy with the secondary front coming towards us. A pretty strong front here in Tennessee. And this, again, this is later today into tonight. Just scattered showers over the Carolinas. But watch what happens as we go into the overnight. We get kind of a little bit of a split in the energy. Some of the energy stays up here, and it looks like a little piece goes down here. So as we go into tomorrow morning, you can see the fronts approaching, and by mid-afternoon, it looks like the front about 2, 3 in the afternoon is going to be right in this area. So let me draw that. It looks like the front's going to be somewhere in here. And there's just not a lot of moisture. There's actually a lot more up here as the upper level energy seems to be going this way, but the cold front's being driven down to the south. So I think that's a good sign as far as seeing some of this cooler air move in. You can see the air behind it. This is basically the same time frame. Let me back this up, and we'll show you today we've had some pretty warm air ahead of it, mid 80s, which is about average, if not a little bit above. But as we go into tomorrow, I'll go ahead and jump ahead to tomorrow morning. You can see that cool air spilling in on the back side of the system. And the temperatures back in here are in the 50s, 60s, and around Charlotte, you're looking at some mid 70s. So even during the day on Saturday, I think temperatures are probably only going to get into the low 80s, but on the backside, you can see those temperatures falling already into the low 70s. So really dry, comfortable air moving in on the backside, and not a huge chance of rain. At least right now, I still think they're going to see some rain tomorrow afternoon, but again, this is looking at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The front's in here, and there's just not a lot of shower activity in there. If I switch over to the NAM model, same time frame, you notice there are some scattered showers that develop into the evening hours, but they're pretty scattered. So certainly not a washout tomorrow. And as the front plows in and moves all the way in by Sunday, you're looking at some beautiful temperatures by Sunday afternoon. We're looking at highs in the mountains, could be in the upper 50s. Piedmont, we'll see temperatures in the low to mid 70s. So a gorgeous afternoon shaping up. And we look at the long range temperatures. This isn't going to stick around forever. We got a nice little break here from Saturday night into basically Tuesday, and then a little bit of a warm up. The one thing I'll notice here, though, the overnight lows stay nice and cool in the 50s. That's because the air is going to stay dry. So even though temperatures will start to warm up, this is going to be a dry air mass that we're with for the rest of the week. So that's a quick check at your forecast for your Friday. Hope you have a great Friday going into the weekend. Looking forward to watching the Panthers game, and get prepared. This is our first taste of autumn so far this season. Have a great Friday.